Welcome everyone to the Read and Writing Corner. I am going to hop on this trend of doing a list of the books I have read and ranking them, and all that stuff for 2024. This is what we're going to do here. Over here. I guess what I could do is just move you back over here because, makes more sense. I guess, because you're just going to look above. Hopefully you guys can see this. So, the first one we're going to do, which now I've got to find. Okay, so claimed is a 3. That's what it is. It's a 3. And the reason why it's a 3 is because I didn't like where she was going with it. I didn't like her character, the main female character. I like that she was badass and that she was a daywalker, but I didn't like the fact that she brushed off everyone's concerns for her because she didn't learn how to fight. She wasn't a fighter or anything like that. So even though there's no 3 points here, it's supposed to be a 3.5, but it's not good enough to be a 4. So we're just going to knock that down. Break the Day also needs to go there. I don't recall what this one's about. Jeez, my memory's a little fuzzy on that. Same with Fall of Midnight. All of them weren't that well with the characters. There were certain things that could have been done better. Now, the best one that I thought of that really grasped it was King of Midnight. It's not a 5 tier, but it is a 4 tier, simply because it was the end all, and you take one of the main characters, now relegated as a side character that's been in every single book from the very beginning, and you wham bam, oh my god, he might die. And that really makes people sit up and want to know what's going on, because it's just, you don't want him to die because he's been around forever. And it's just not that one. Controversy on Goodreads for this next one is it's like a 3.59. Here it is Grim Reaper End of Days by Steve Alden. That's 5 tier for me. And there's a particular reason for that. Back when my mother first passed away, that was the book I read that got me back into reading and writing and being excited about worlds again. Instead of just, reading to pass the time. It was just like, eh. That's why it's a 5 tier. And it'll stay a 5 tier because it brought me back into the love of crafting because of the way he crafted the story. It was so engaging and so page-turning that I wanted to know more, that I wanted to envision this world and see where it's going. The next one is also a 3 tier. I don't know why they look the way they do, but this is not the way they looked when I had them. Where is it? Oh, here it is. The Legacy of Croft Castle. It's 3. It's down there. We're gonna put these up there because it gets better, but it's a 3. It's a 3-star. It could have been better. Could have been more romance. And it's supposed to be a gothic romance, and it's not. It's not a gothic romance at all. It's not. You'll see it better. Anyways, we're gonna make it giant because oh no, we can't make it that giant. So now I'm covering up. Here, okay, whatever. So there's those. Now the first 2 I will put in this is The Return of the Indian. It's meant for children, but it didn't age that well. It did not age well with people and everything. Just the way it was and the way it was written. It's more for children to read to them, and it doesn't age. I don't think it aged very well. Another one that's in there, and this is simply because I don't like nonfiction. Like, I don't really care for nonfiction, and I know it's here somewhere. Can't seem to find it. Oh, here it is. It's right there. This is another 2. It's a 2.5. So it is higher than The Return of the Indian. But it's just nonfiction. I really don't care for it. Like, at all. Now, Fist of Shadows, which is based off from Frozen 2. Well, the bridge between Frozen 1 and Frozen 2 is a 3.5, but we're going to put it up here in the 3s. Well, actually, no. We'll put it as a 4. Only because it's balanced between a 3 point. It's a balance between a 3 and a 4. It doesn't really belong down here with these ones. And so I should put it up here with this one. Because the writing was solid. The adventure was solid. And I like that they put in things that were not actually in the series. But could be in the series. And I like that. That's an interesting way of doing it. But it's not top tier, you know? It's just not. The next one is Justify All Means. It's above The Legacy of Craft Castle. But only because, like, a man of the law falls in love with a woman who's a criminal, and he finds out about it, and he doesn't immediately do the right thing. His partner does, but he doesn't. So, like, yeah. A lot of things that could go there. It's also a 3.5. The same with, I want to say, the rest of hers. They're okay. Like, Southern Storm is next. So Southern Storm, River's Edge, and Breaker's Reef. They're 3.5s as well. But they could have been more solid in their writing. They're good for what they are, which is good Christian books. But they could... I don't know, I just didn't click with all of them. Like, they're not 4-star, they're 3. Now the next one is The Silver Wolf. And I want to say, along with that one, is The Wolf King. They're 3.5 all together, and they could have been better, but they're a little dry than what I thought. In this, even though it says it's the second book in the series, it's actually the prequel, and it's not as good. It's not as engaging as the other 2. So there's that. It's Angels and Demons is definitely a 4 tier, along with his... Oh, I didn't read that yet. So, yeah. That's a 4 tier. 4-star. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And I love that it had more in-depth information than the movie did. And it was a wonderful thrill. And another one is a Like, if you want to read dark about a boy who is so thin, he travels with a slave to sacrifice said slave and ends up becoming a slave himself for a while and gets severely mistreated and starved and fingers threaten to be cut off. Talk about a journey that changes a person's mind, that is set in their ways. That's is what the Thin Executioner does. Now, The Great Gatsby is a 3. And it's barely above The Legacy of Croft Castle, only because classics don't really ring well with me. I don't really enjoy classics the way a lot of people do. Sorry. I just don't. It's just not the way it is with me. I don't enjoy classics like that. So this one, which is this is a actually, I'll put it up here. Actually, no, I'll put it here. This one's for the Kabuki play, which is the Ben 10 the Thief, and it's a 3-star, and I think it's really good for play. It was interesting, and I liked it a lot. Okay. So the first one for Optimus Fall, I'm gonna put it down. I say it's a 4-star. So I'm gonna put it here, and this one, because of the hilarity of it. It is a hilarious young teen. Teen fantasy. It's hilarious. It really is. Now, for my second 5-star read, we have The Talisman. Talk about grim and dark and a struggle. A young boy having to cross territories of both America itself and another world, flipping between them to try and get to a talisman that can save his own mother and a mother in another territory. And how he's being chased down, being forced to do all kinds of stuff, almost gets killed a lot. Is very good. I can't wait to read the sequel again, which is Black House, which is somewhere over there in my pile of books now, but you can't see those. We're not showing those right now. The next one is Cake Eater by Alison Dalian. We're gonna put it right here. Because it's a 4.5 for me. Like, the only thing that I didn't enjoy about the ride of reading this was the ending. The twist at the end was good, but they could have given me one thing and they didn't, and that's why I don't like it. That's why it's not a 5-star read. Because they didn't give me the one thing I wanted out of it after I read it. So yeah. Nope. Polar Nights, which is another Frozen. I don't recall if it's before or after Frozen 2. After. It's after, because Anna's the queen and Elsa is not. And it's a really good showcase of how Anna as a queen handles something going wrong in her territory and how she goes about fixing it along with her sister. So there is that. It's by Jen Kalita and Mary Makunsa, so it's a really good take on that. So the next one is The 8 by Catherine Neville. It's a 2, and we're going to put it there. I DNF'd it because I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it at all. It was more about chess than I thought it was going to be, and it didn't interest me because the flipping from one century to the other century just didn't. It didn't work. Medieval and then modern day. It just two people that existed in two different times having something to do with each other. It didn't cling with me. And then I also DNF'd. You're not supposed to be there. You're supposed to be there. I DNF'd Silence by Shusaku Endo. Honestly, I shouldn't have. Well, I thought I was gonna enjoy it, but I didn't. I didn't enjoy it the way I thought I was going to. So that was a letdown in that, and I don't really like things based off from real world like that. Would a lot of times based off from real world, like struggles and bad stuff. So like when people are going into Japan when they're on crackdown for all the other religions and they're killing off people and torturing people, I don't really want to read that kind of stuff. I want to read the other kind of stuff, like the legends and the myths and more fantasy stuff than trying to bring Christianity into a Buddhist and a Shinto world. That's just not where I click on. Do I not? Okay, so Breach of Peace by Daniel Green. We're gonna put this right there with Rebel Fall of Midnight. Actually, no, don't lie. It's there. There's a lot of work that could have been put by into this. I mean, it's just novella and it's short and it doesn't have a lot of world building and it doesn't have a lot going on in it. It's like a prequel to. It's more like a prequel than it is anything else. Um, that's what I want to call it. I want to call it more like a prequel, and there was a lot of improvements that could be done about it because I mean the characters weren't all that solid, the world building wasn't all that solid. There could have been more done for this, and I'm excited to read the next book in it, Rebel's Creed. I'm excited to read his newest one, which is Neon Ghost, and then of course there's the one he's working on now. Forgot the name of the title, but I can't wait because that one's going to be traditionally published, and I can't wait to read it and see how well he has improved from his first one. And honestly, I want to read the Lawful Times again with the updates that he's done to it because he has gone through and updated it and rewritten some of it, and I would want to go right back through and read it again to see how he's improved since the last time I read. So, Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shay Earnshaw is up here. I loved the way the story took place, and I loved how the twist came at towards the end, and it was well done. And I wish the people who created this, Tim Burton, take that, make a movie out of it, make it canon because that would make so much more sense in my brain, in mind, and in the world than what you have right now. And it makes you hate Frankenstein even more, which is a bonus in my book. Hating Frankenstein you should always hate him. Finkelstein, sorry, Dr. Finkelstein. You should always hate him because he's just an all-around bad guy. Yeah, that's all he is. Yu Hakusho Volume 1. I love Yu Hakusho. So yeah, that's always gonna be up there. Yu Hakusho is an enjoyment and just about a punk who's an anti-hero. He doesn't want to be a hero. He doesn't want anything to do with being a hero, and yet that's what he becomes. And it starts off in volume 1, and I can't wait to get to volume 2. I wish more. I wish more books would be written in it because I want to read more and I want to enjoy it more. I want more out of it. Okay. I want more. Then I'm not going to do. Okay. Desire Untamed by Pamela Palmer is a 4. We're going to put them down here. It's almost a 3.5, so almost a 3 point down here for 3s. Simply because of the ritual for claiming the glue that holds them together. Because there's a female who's supposed to give them their powers and boost their abilities and everything. And the ritual to claim her into it is no. Just no. Other than that, it's a pretty good read. I really honestly just want to put it down here, you know. Because it's not the best. It doesn't deserve to be up there. The Hunt for Atlantis by Andy McDermott is a 4.5, but it's not good enough to be a 5. I don't think it's good enough to be a 5, because I don't know. It didn't it didn't it didn't wow me. Wow me. Like, it's a good read. It's a really good read. It's a 4.5. I mean, it's almost perfect in my book. And, you know, I'm glad there's not a lot of romance in it. It doesn't actually it doesn't really have a lot of romance, and it's more about the adventure and everything and the danger. But I would like it, because I would like it more if Nina could do more defense than being the helpless, oh, damsel in distress, because I can't do anything or defend myself. Like, make Nina able to do more. Stop being such a damsel in distress. False Memory. It was a good sci-fi thrill. We'll put it here. Yeah, it was a good sci-fi thrill. It didn't wow me, because the twist was unexpected. But been there, done that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. It's been there, done that kind of thing. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's just that. Okay. So the next one is A Night to Remember by Walter Lord. I thought it was interesting. To read about the Titanic in its last moments, but I thought it was going to be more to it. Like, it was going to start sooner about what happened to it and be more in depth about what happened while it was sinking, but it wasn't. It was more of a strict detail of, this is what happened, this is why it happened, these are the theories we have about why everything didn't align right, and these are the things that were fixed to make sure it never happened again. The next book, Frankenstein. Mary Shelley. I think this is it. I put this as a 3-star, which really, I guess it's a classic. I did not realize that it was a story within a story within a story. That's what it is. Okay, it's a story within a story within a story. Your main character tells somebody, your main character in the story is being depicted and described by somebody who is told the story. So while he was being told this story, he wrote it down for everybody to one day event to his sister, so that way his sister could read. So it was a story within a story within a story. And the movie is much better. The movies are much better in that area. They are. They're so much better. Uh, the first 1 star, the Quest for Answers, the Da Vinci Code. I thought it was going to be more of a in-depth analysis about the Da Vinci Code, but it wasn't. It was not a more in-depth analysis of the Da Vinci Code. It was more of a story format. People were reading the book and then discussing it and everything they Googled in the history bar and everything. So, yeah. No, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and the way it portrayed itself to be. So, yeah, no. Right, Sense of Roses by Kate Martin. We're going to put her. We're going to put her here. It's paranormal. It's got some romance in it, but it's not really a lot of paranormal that goes on in it. It's just a couple ghosts trying to ward off people because they're afraid that more bad stuff is going to happen because of a lot of bad stuff that did happen in the house that it all mainly takes place in. So it's a iffy thing on that. That's what that is, and yeah, this didn't click well with it. It wasn't as clicky as I thought it was going to be. Even though I did rate it as a 3.5, it still wasn't as clicky, you know, as I wanted it to be. Where is Great Dialogues of Plato is a 2. Is a 2. I'm not into philosophy. I'm not a philosophy girl. I'm not. No. No. Yeah, that's all that was. This came out of nowhere. Did you? Oh my god. Go up. Not what I want you. Like, that came out of nowhere and surprised me as a 5-star. I devoured that book in like three days from working. I mainly read. I did not do anything else. I couldn't put it down when I was at home reading the book. It was so interesting. Psychics that work for the FBI unit who are trying to solve murders that happened a long time ago through ghosts. I don't know, but it hit better than A Scent of Roses did because it was basically the same thing, except in Scent of Roses, nobody had any mystical powers, and unlike in Chill of Fear, like the dude could touch something and be like, "Oh yeah, I've seen the past." Somebody who could help somebody see stuff by painting. It's all rather unique in that. The Tommyknockers is a 3, and I'll just put it up here above. Yeah, there. We'll just put it there. The Tommyknockers. It was a psychological thriller, less than a horror, because I mean, people are aliens taking over people. There's a lot of problems. My first time reading a Dean Koontz book, and I was surprised by the husband. We'll put it there. Yeah. We were surprised by the husband. It was a thriller more than anything. A man's wife gets kidnapped and he witnesses somebody being killed. And he's like, you gotta give us a certain amount of money. And he goes through a lot of stuff. It's just an ordinary gardener. And he does a lot of stuff. Kills a lot of people. I mean, by accident, but, and then not accident because, he's just trying to save his wife. And everybody's out to get him in one way, shape, or form. So it was was surprised that I enjoyed it a lot. The Merchant of Death, I put it as a 4-star because the adventure, we'll put it down here. It's, yeah, it's not as good as Frozen, but The Merchant of Death, where a 14-year-old goes through and learns that he's a traveler and that he has to save the world and it's up to him. Like, yeah. The Rise of Kyoshi. Loved it. Like, I am so glad that one of the creators actually worked closely with her and with the others who have written for this. So it's all, canon. It's mainly canon. Mostly canon. But there are some discrepancies in it. Like, who made the dialy, you know? Because according to the anime, Kyoshi made the dialy as protectors. But actually, it could all bring true because Kyoshi's parents made the Dai which were thieves and everything. But when Kyoshi went to the Dai after she'd been abandoned by her parents, who ran the Dai she turned them around and had them become saviors. So these Dai could have been saviors, but they, throughout the generations, they could have became corrupt again because they were originally criminals. So it could be that the criminal side of the Dai kind of came back eventually. And I think that would be a very good way of doing it. Alright, so I read another one by Dean Koontz, and it was Mr. Murder, and it didn't impress me. I DNF'd it. When I got to the point where, oh, that happened again. I don't know if I'm gonna say anything because just in case you guys want to read it, I don't want to spoil it for you because, like, I think maybe you guys will enjoy it. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure, you guys can see me better. You might enjoy it more. You might enjoy it for all I know, because I mean, like, I know I didn't, but, you guys might. It's about a guy who's a writer, who has a lookalike that comes to take his life, his wife and his family and his children, and to kill him so he can take his place. And it's about them trying to outdodge him and figure out why someone's trying to kill him. Birth of a Killer, which is a Larton Crisply saga by Darren Shan. I don't know if you guys know this, but I like Darren Shan a lot. So we're going to put him up here in the 5 tier because Larton Crisply's beginnings is, I love that you gave us the background of one of the most major players in the vampire, the legacy, the saga of Darren Shan, or the Creature Freak series, which is just, I love it. I love that happened. This one, Jackson Roll by Dina McCall. Yeah, we'll put it right there. Yeah. There is no paranormal romance in it, and I've learned that I don't really like things that are not paranormal romance because I think it draws and brings out more for the plot. But it was good for what it was. I mean, like, the dude went to prison, he came out of it, and he was just trying to get his life together and bring his sister out of the mental ward. So, like, come on. I'm weird in my readings. You see how weird my readings is? Like, the things I enjoy, it's weird. It's really weird. Okay, How to Train Your Dragon. I like that it's based off from a book, and I'm really glad that the adaptation went the way it did because I can't imagine Toothless being this big instead of being ginormous where Hiccup can ride him, or being a different species instead of being a common garden freaking dragon. He's a night fear, which is so much better. So much better, but it's still great to see where it came from and how it started. There is that. Okay, Until the Full Moon, I give it a 4. So I'll put it here. It's a BL, boys love. A vampire in love with another vampire, who's half vampire, half human, but he doesn't have no vampire. Not half vampire, half werewolf, and he has neither traits from the werewolf or the vampires. Instead, on the full moon, he turns into a woman, so that way his bloodline used to do that. One would turn into a woman and one would turn into a werewolf, and that was the only way they would be able to have children, was through that. So there's that. It's weird. So, but it's still a 4. Now, the time I got reincarnated as a slime, I'm so happy. To read. Yeah, I'll put there. I'm so happy to read what inspired the anime. Rimuru. Rimuru, you're just so awesome. And so down to earth. Like, he knows his limitations. And he knows what he can and cannot do. And he tries to do his best for those around him. And he's so selfless. Although he does have his selfish moments. The majority of what he does is to protect the people, the goblins, the dire wolves, later on the orcs and everything, from being preyed upon by others. And yes, he does delegate everything off to others so he can be lazy because he is selfish in that respect. But when push comes to shove, he steps up and he does what's necessary. And he takes it all on to him. He's like, if I can't protect you, then I don't deserve to be your leader, so I'm going to protect you to the best of my abilities. And he just levels up more and more to be able to protect. And I enjoyed reading the web novel that became a serialized book to the beginning of it all. And so, yes, I know there was changes made to the books as they're being published that are different from the web novels. But I'm glad to get the final edition of it. What's gonna be forever, there. I put this as a 4, but I'm gonna actually knock it down to a 3 because, like, there is a smaller amount of them being at Hogwarts than anything else. Most of it's a setup. And sure, it's still got its mythical and magical stuff. I'm talking about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. But it's lacking in a way that an adult would enjoy it. I mean, I would enjoy it more if there had been more stuff going on in it. And I understand it's for children. This one is, at least. For children. It doesn't talk about the people dying in it. It doesn't give away a lot of bad stuff. It doesn't show a lot of terrible stuff. But it implies a lot of it. And I think if she wanted to make it more childrenish, she should have just did more of that aspect. It showed more fun stuff going on and expanded on his first year at Hogwarts because there's very little that happens at Hogwarts in this book. Most of it is before he even gets to Hogwarts. So there's not a lot that goes on in the first one, and it's not as good as I thought it would be. Second time around. I mean, it's great when you're a kid and you're reading it for the first time, but not as an adult. A Study in Scarlet by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I don't know what it is, but I just love Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's works. I just love them. Right? It's supposed to be a 4.5, but it's gonna stay here. Yeah, it's gonna stay there because it's still great, but it's not the pinnacle. The pinnacle. Also, I'm gonna put this actually down here It's a 3.5, but I'm gonna bump it up to a 4 because I enjoy the fact that it shows you what happens before the series for the Elderlings actually officially starts. Robin Hobb's world is so immersive that I'm excited to get into it, and that reading this about the very beginning of how the first year line got corrupted with wit magic is beautiful. And that's all I'm gonna say on it. I'm not gonna tell you how or anything else. Um Now these are ones that you'll be having coming out soon. Ish. Because I'm gonna post this before the year is up. So these will be coming out afterwards, so you'll know more about my thoughts and feelings on them at a later date. But Ember and the Ashes was a 3. I'm gonna put it above Harry Potter. Harry Potter, actually, you need to go down there. And Ember and Ashes was Sabah Tahir. I know she's just setting up the world, and I know she's setting up the characters and the acts and all the mythical stuff that's going on in it. But there's a lot of repeating. There's a lot of knowledge circulating around, and the way the blurb in the back sets up the book, it's a little deceiving because I thought the main female character, was already a slave, and I thought the main male character was still in school. I thought he was graduating, but he was still a soldier in school. So, and to read that and realize that it's not that way. Main female character becomes a slave of her choice to save her brother, and the main character is graduating, and he stays on because he thinks he'll find his actual freedom because of what somebody said to him. So yes, it's a 3. There's just nothing else about it. I don't even think it belongs up there. I think it should be down here. Yeah. Okay. So the next one is actually a sequel. We were on. Sorry about that. False Sight is up there. It's better than False Memory, but not by a lot. The reason being is that more sci-fi than you can ever believe is being dumped on you in this one, and it's dumped on you hard and fast. It kicks off immediately, which is a little ridiculous in my book, but that is what it is. The next one is Forest Heaven's Official Blessing. If I could make it a 6, I would. Like, that is my number 1 read of the year. It is just so wah. Love it. I love it. And I cannot wait to read the next one, because I'm sure that's going to be my top tier for next year. Okay? Okay. Okay. And anyways, on to the last 5 books that I read for December. I'm definitely not going to get these yet, but here we go. Okay, so Ecstasy is a 4-star. Oh my god, where do I want this? Actually, I want this right there. Okay, it is set in the same world as the Nightwalkers, and Jacqueline Frank's what got me into the paranormal romance with my first book that I ever bought from her, Gideon. When I realized it was a second book in the series, I actually bought the whole freaking series because I was just like, I need to read all this, okay? So I am so pleased that it's still in the same universe, and that's all I can say. It's just a moi, okay? Okay, the Lost City of Far is also up there. It's better than that because he's getting a better hang of it. He's getting better at Bobby is getting better at being a traveler. So that's what I got to say to that. And it's a world of water. Like, who wouldn't love a world full of water? Those afraid of swimming or water, but everybody else would love it. Okay, my second 1-star read and a DNF is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King. Now, not all Stephen King books are for everybody, and if you like one Stephen King book, you're not guaranteed to like another one. Light of Talisman is still up there, and then the Tommy Knockers is just not. And then just one, it's just, I didn't like the premise. I didn't like where it was going. I didn't like what I insinuated from it because I didn't even finish it. So there is that. So, yes. Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo. It was a surprise read and I enjoyed it, so I'm gonna actually bump it up to a 4 because it's a 3.5. So we're gonna put it here. In my opinion, the heist was the least important thing I liked about it. I loved everything else about it. The world building, the characters, and I understand that by reading this, the world has already been built because this is after the Shadow and Bone trilogy, but I don't know. It was just good. And better than what I thought it was gonna be. Although I could do with a lot less of a point of views and chapter switching, because every single chapter was a different person's point of view. And it wasn't hard to keep up per se, but it was also a little hard to keep up sometimes. And then the last one, which I did for this, is the Maple Viewing. It was okay. It was okay. I liked it. It was no play, and I got to read a no play. But I think it would have been better to watch the no play than anything else. That's what I think. So that is my tier ranking. Let me move me out of the way over here. Let me just do this. Okay. Let me just look at you guys and be like, here, let me just, okay. So this is my tier list rankings. So number 1, the lowest of the low, a 1-star, is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. And then Da Vinci Code, if I could give it a 0.5, I'd give the Da Vinci Code a 0.5. But I can't. And then you have ranked number 2 from least to best out of it. The Great Dollars of Plateau, Silence, The Eight, Mr. Murder, and these 3 I DNF'd, and they're even better than The Great Plateau. The Return of the Indian, Night of the Wolf, and Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. And 3 going from least to the best, and the 3-star to 3.5s. It could possibly have almost been 4s. We have The Legacy of Croft Castle, which could have been a 2, by the way. Actually, we're going to put it down there at the 2. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Frankenstein, A Night to Remember, The Great Gatsby, The Wolf King, The Silver Wolf, Maple Viewing, because The Silver Wolf's better than The Wolf King. Or maybe it wasn't. Yeah, there we go. The Silver Wolf, then The Wolf King. Maple Viewing, The No Play, Breach of Peace, Justifiable Means, and then the Cape Refugees series, The Tommy Knockers, Jackson Rule, the Ben 10, The Thief, Kabuki play, Scent of Roses, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, An Ember in the Ashes, Claimed in the Shadows, Break the Day, False Memory, False Sight, Fall of Night, and Desire Untamed. Now, from the 4 who've been 3.5s to the 4.5s, we have The Willful Princess and the People Prince, Until the Full Moon, Artemis Fowl, The Merchant of Death, The Lost City of Far, Force of Shadows, King of Midnight, Polar Nights, Cast into Darkness, Angels and Demons, Six of Crows, Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, The Husband, The Thin Executioner, Ecstasy, Cake Eater, The Hunt for Atlantis, A Study in Scarlet. Now, 4.5s to 5s and a 6, because, 6 tier. If I could make that, if that was real in Goodreads and Fable and all that stuff, I'd make it a 6.5, but I can't. Or even higher. I don't know. How to Train Your Dragon. Birth of a Killer, The Saga of Lawrence Crispy, Grim Rebrand of Days, Talisman, Chill of Fear, The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Volume 1, The Rise of Kyoshi, Yu Yu Hakusho, Volume 1, and of course, Heaven's Official Blessing, Volume 1, which should be like a 6 or a 7 tier book, because it was my number 1 read. So, there you go. From my the worst book I ever read, and I DNF'd it, and I don't even finish it, to the one that I can't stop thinking about, and I want to read more, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait to get into the next one. So there's my rankings. Let me know what you think, what you thought, what books you wanted to try out, just because I didn't enjoy the book, or I didn't like the premise, or whatever. Okay, you could like it. You could love it. You could think it's better than what I thought it was, and you're okay to have that opinion. As long as you don't come at me about it, saying I'm wrong. Everybody has an opinion, and they have the right to that opinion, so this is how I felt my year went. And Jesus Lord. See, because there's a whole bunch more that doesn't count. But 60 books. Next year I'll be better at tracking, because I'm going to start tracking from January onwards and everything. So that will be better for that. If you think I deserve a like, comment, or even a lovely subscription, drop it down below. I will see you next illusion.